Seyler, back again for another question-answer video. This one has to do with my book, historical fiction set during World War I, The War in Our Hearts. This question comes from Erin Bartels, and she asks, how bound to historical fact did you keep yourself in the writing of The War in Our Hearts? Did you cheat anywhere? Well, I'm a little bit obsessed with historical fact. So for the most part, I did keep it pretty accurate. I don't name the division that my main character Jamie Graham is in, but I did base it loosely on the 15th Scottish Division. This book, hefty little tome, details all of the division's movements, where they were, what they were doing at any given time. So this was very useful in getting an idea of where they would have been, what they were actually doing. So a lot of my information came from this. These two books are about trench warfare, Eye Deep in Hell and Hot Blood and Cold Steel. These are excellent books. They give a really great idea of just practical daily life in the trenches, how long it took for mail to get delivered, what kind of food rations they had, anything. Basically anything you want to know about trench life can be found in one of the others of these books. I took lots of notes from this, and I drew a lot of inspiration from these. And it's also set during the Battle of the Somme, so this book was an excellent resource because it's not only illustrated, but it also has maps and weather details and which divisions were doing what, where on any given day. So especially for the weather information, this was very invaluable to me. For Graham's childhood, I referred a lot to A Childhood in Scotland. There is a lot of fabulous, this is just a fabulous little book. So I got a lot of inspiration for his background from this. As far as whether I cheated anywhere, there is one place in which I quote a song which hadn't actually been published yet at the time that I quoted it, but it was so perfect that I went ahead and took the liberty of putting it in there. And I framed it in such a way that it could just as easily be Jamie Graham inserting it later. It's not necessarily, doesn't have to be interpreted that he was actually playing that song at that particular juncture in the story. I kind of left it a little open-ended. And no, I'm not going to tell you which one it was. You have to read the book and figure it out for yourself. So that is the only place that I am conscious of having deliberately cheated with my historical fact. I love accuracy. Sometimes I'm almost a little too obsessed with being accurate, but that's just the way I am, so I just kind of have embraced it. And here's a fun one from Jacqueline Van Sant again. What is your go-to beverage or snack when writing? Honestly, I just drink a lot of water. That's basically all I drink. I don't like coffee. I'm too lazy to make tea. Generally speaking, too lazy to make hot chocolate, even though I love hot chocolate. I like snacks that are easy to just pick up with one hand, that don't make a mess, so like dried fruit is great. A cookie that's not crumbling everywhere is another one that I would love. Stuff that doesn't get my hands messy, which the dried fruit is actually perfect because it doesn't leave your hands sticky and it doesn't crumble everywhere, and it's just really tasty. We dry a lot of our own fruit, My favorite is dried apples, though I also love dried cranberries. We don't actually grow cranberries, but we buy those ones. Dried cherries are fun. I am a little more sparing with those because they're more work. But yeah, dried fruit. I'm going to go with dried fruit and water because I am the glamorous epitome of glamour. Last time I ended by reading a poem from this little book, The Great War in Verse and Prose, and I'm going to do that again. This one is called Pro Patria. England, in this great fight to which you go, because where honor calls you go you must, be glad whatever comes at least to know you have your quarrel just. Peace was your care, before the nation's bar her cause you pleaded and her ends you sought, but not for her sake, being what you are, could you be bribed or bought. Others may spurn the pledge of land to land, may with the brute sword stain a gallant past, but by the seal to which you set your hand, thank God, you still stand fast. Forth, then, to front that peril of the deep, with smiling lips, and in your eyes the light, steadfast and confident, of those who keep their storied scutcheon bright. And we, whose burden is to watch and wait, high-hearted ever, strong in faith and prayer, we ask what offering we may consecrate, what humble service share. To steel our souls against the lust of ease, to find our welfare in the general good, to hold together, merging all degrees in one wide brotherhood, to teach that he who saves himself is lost, to bear in silence though our hearts may bleed, to spend ourselves and never count the cost for others' greater need, to go our quiet ways subdued and sane, to hush all vulgar clamor of the street, with level calm to face alike the strain of triumph or defeat. This be our part, for so we serve you best, so best confirm their prowess and their pride, your warrior sons, to whom in this high test our fortunes we confide. Sir Owen Seaman. So I'm going to call that it for this video. If you want to ask a question, feel free to drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, all those things that everybody tells you you should do, if you want to. I will see you again in my next video.